3, 2, 1, here we go. In chess, there are so many difficult openings to face. I'm going to make it simpler. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play against the Benoni Defense. First thing you will see on this diagram, so many different colored arrows. Green, blue, and red. A few key ideas showing up. I'm going to show you a very cool pawn sacrifice idea, such that it's going to make your setup against the Benoni Defense a very nice way to play against it. Our first question must be, what is the Benoni? So we're going to take it from the top. D4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, and black can strike with pawn to c5. When this happens, black wants a dynamic central structure. What do I mean? That's the worst move you can play, because then the bishop comes out to attack f2. So no. Whenever you see this position, I want you to go d5. So then you're just gaining space. Now the bishop can't come out. Normally in these kind of positions, d6 will be played. So you will face this. Now, why is this not the best defense for black? Because the pawn on d6 is a weakness. Knight c3. And now bishop f4. The London system opening. We normally put the bishop on f4. Here, it's going to attack the weak Benoni pawn on d6. a6. You will see this move. Benoni players, they want to get queenside counterplay. So if we played a bad move here, then already they are getting space. So I'm going to show you how to play against this defense, but also black's dream setup. And this is one of these kind of positions. Black has gotten space already on the queen side. You just need to play pawn to a4 to stop this advance. Here's an important move. You want the bishop to remain on this diagonal, because we want to attack this weak d6 pawn, which is the Benoni pawn. h3. And then e3. Don't go e4. That's another... it's a move I don't want you to make in these kind of positions, because you're just giving black a target. So in these kind of positions, I want you to play pawn to e3. It's not defending the bishop, it's allowing the bishop to retreat to h2, knight h5. That's a normal move, because it's like black is trying to punish white's early development, but it just tucks back to h2. So you're keeping an eye. Now, I've had this position a few times, and my opponents, they always keep playing the same plan, but it's wrong. And we're going to sacrifice a pawn, and then we will get a good position. f5. Bishop e2. We are getting ready to castle. We've got a great position, our weakness. That's our target later on. f4, and we just castle. It kind of looks bad for us to have a weak pawn on h6, but that's the cool thing. This is my pawn sacrifice idea I mentioned at the start of the video. We will sacrifice this pawn. Queen e7, you can even move the king out of the way. I don't really want this move, because knight f4 is just a little bit annoying. You can actually just sidestep, or even queen d3. Queen d3. And if they go bishop h6, you can actually block with the knight. Even e4 is okay. Knight e5 is an absolutely stunning move, which I can't believe it even works. Wow, knight to e5. Okay, let's look at this line. Then I think after this, I'm going to give you a simpler line, because I've just learned about this. Knight to e5. Why is this a brilliant move? Because after take, we go d6. Okay, pawn to d6. Queen e6. And bishop g4. Okay, we're hitting this. You see, if this happens, check, and then a rook might recapture here. If the queen goes back, d7. No, check. And then check, okay. Right, now I understand. And then it is checkmate. Wow, okay. Right, so not only have I taught myself something where we sacrifice a pawn in the center, but we will also sacrifice a knight. Wow, what a stunning way to start this video. I've never even seen that before. When creating this video, I need the engine on just to check a few key points, because in opening videos, you just can't know everything. Even when reviewing a video, I'm still learning. So that is one really cool line. All right, next chapter. Now, we will take it from this moment again. We'll take it from the top. Notice the move order doesn't quite matter. It can actually be this one first. So we still get the same kind of pawn structure, or it can be the other one, where our opponents, they go c5 first. It doesn't matter. When our opponents strike with c5, we'll go d5 and then knight to c3. So it's really the same thing. Now, in this move order, knight f3. Why is this move order good? Because then it gives us a chance to transpose into the Catalan, which is a video I've made on this channel as well. Knight to f3, c5, d5. You always get space. Take, take. d6, knight c3, and now bishop f4. Same thing as before. The game I'm following at the moment is high-level game. High-level player with the white pieces. It is Matirosyan, top grandmaster from Armenia, 2648, and with white 2281. So gigantic rating gap. Perfect for these opening videos, just to see how one player plays compared to another player who is much lower rated. So it's the same kind of moves as before. Later I'm going to show you knight e8, which isn't really a common move. It is one option because you defend the pawn on d6, but it's a bit passive. But later we're going to see this very soon. So same kind of move, f5, and now they don't go for this f4 plan. They don't go f4, they go b6. And now this was the other key diagram I mentioned near the start of this video. It is where you reroute this knight to d2 to c4. You attack the weak Benoni pawn. That is so important in these kind of positions. Knight to d2, knight f6, and now knight c4. Can you see? When black put the knight on h5, it's now a waste of time. The knight can go back to f6, and now it's got to waste time to go back to e8. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like a perfect position for white. Perfect bishop. The London bishop has retreated. The knight has come here. That's also like a King's Indian, really. This kind of journey, the perfect kind of position to play against this weakness. And now get the queen. Queen b3. Every single piece is optimal. Queen b3. You are attacking b6. Knight d7, and now we can actually take on d6. That's the cool thing. There's no good way to defend. You can't go b5 because take. Because you take on the a file and then you can crash through. You can't. Well, actually, there's no good way. Can you see? It's like white's moves are nothing special. But the maneuver that you need to remember is knight go here and then the queen come out. So in this game, what happened? Knight d7 and then we can take d6. Bishop comes in, and here's a really cool, fancy tactic. It is using the diagonal pressure. Really cool bishop move. I'll give you guys 5 seconds. Can you see it? Where can we put the bishop on a very silly looking square to attack the queen? 5 seconds. Grandmaster played bishop c7. Can't take because check. If you go here to attack the queen, you check first. That's the important thing, and then you take the queen. Just a small difference. So really cool discovered attack. Check. d6 check. Let's just go back a few moves here. The bishop went to c7. We throw in a check, and then white was much better in this position. Bishops come off, take, take, and then white had a great position. Queen actually went to d5. Let's just see the rest of this game. Rook e1. Rook d1. Can you see white's position is absolutely just perfect, really. Perfect. Your upper pawn, central pieces. You can go e4 later. Queen in. And now a trade happens. We don't have to trade. Keep the queens on, but a trade looks normal. And then the knight comes in. Engine. Maybe you can retreat the queen. It's a little bit better. b5. Now, I really like the move a5. Just not giving your opponent a chance. If we go back to this moment, if take, well, take, and then maybe the other rook can come round. Or that rook as well. So, no, you just lock up the queen side, which is where black's play is in the Benoni. a5. Knight b6. Oh, what a perfect situation. If take, then take. What a brilliant bishop. And you're just going to walk the pawn home. You get a queen very soon. So, knight b6. e4, open the center, the rook come in, that's almost mate. That is almost mate. Take. I love that move. Because take, there's no good way to stop it. Good. Here, really cool move. Because it kind of looks like white is blundered, you just take. That's the cool thing. It's like nothing's changed. It's so funny. What a brilliant final position where both of the rooks are hanging. Both of the white rooks are hanging, and you still promote. It doesn't matter which one you take, mate. And here's the really funny thing. If you take, it's actually mate. You don't even waste time taking that rook. That is mate on the back. Absolutely brilliant variation. Let's look at a few more chapters. A few more important setups to show in this Benoni video. This was the diagram I mentioned in the intro. So let's just flick through this a little bit. We want this position. Knight h5. They attack our London bishop. It retreats to h2. And then bishop e2. And now castle f4. Here we go. So there are a few ways you can react. Let me show you a fancy way first, and then maybe a normal way. Queen d3, I think we saw earlier. Well, king h1 we saw earlier. Queen d3. Let's do queen c2 first. What's William trying to prove? If you sacrifice the pawn, white still has a brilliant position because the position opens up, and then this Benoni weakness is still there. What is William talking about in this high-level variation? If you take check, it actually looks like we have made a terrible mistake because giving up a pawn, giving up anything with check is terrible. The position opens up in white's favour. That is a weakness. You've got lots of ideas, that one. Knight e4 later. Really, that's the easy idea, you could say. If I can even draw an arrow today, the rooks are just controlling so many files. All right, let's play a few moves just to convince you why black's position is terrible. So, normal move is actually just a queen out the way. What if knight f4? Why not block? You go rook here, you see. That's the cool thing. Don't take. Don't take. Because then black's queen is very strong. The dark square bishop still exists. Even though that knight looks very strong, you play around it. Just go rook e1. Just go rook to e1 here. And after take, just take with rook. Can you see every single white piece is in the game? Look at the pieces on the back doing nothing. So this is not really the correct way for black to play this opening. The queen might retreat, and then you can take. You can even get the knight in to take. I don't see anything wrong with taking. Yeah, you can just take, or just get the knight in. It's fine. What bishop here? Yeah, bishop takes d6, fine. Looking good. Okay, now I want to show what was the other line, just a normal move. This one, I must show this move. Bishop g6, absolutely brilliant move coming up. So let me go back a little bit. How do we get that? The queen goes back to e7. Normal move. Okay, good. When our opponent plays the normal move, it's not going to work out. Rook e1. Rook to e1. I've drawn this set of double arrows so many times in this video where the two rooks control the e and the f file. So rook e1, the queen might move. No, the knight blocks. Get the bishop out of the way. Double attack, the queen might move, and then you can crash through and start. I can't actually believe this kind of variation works. Now, does it make sense a variation like this might work? Yes, because every single white piece is in the game. Most of black pieces are doing nothing. That's why sacrifices can work. Bishop takes g6, really cool move here. Bishop takes g6 and then take, and there's so many possibilities. Let me explain with each arrow. The two green arrows I've drawn so many times in this video, it's ridiculous. Then the red and the green arrows, you just get the knights in. Knight e4, knight g5, queen f7. If you play that, that is basically mate. I really like this X-ray tactic. You can't block with the bishop, it's illegal, so you have to give it up. You have to give up the queen for the rook. So queen f7. Nope. What's another line? Maybe the knight comes in. But then that's checkmate. That's the cool thing. Slotting the rook from a1 to e1 to e7, hit the bishop. There's no good move. There's no good move to defend. So, any other defense? I can't see another move, man. I can't see another move. You see the blue arrow? We haven't even gotten to that. Threat. White has sacrificed the bishop on g6 with knight g5 next. And also, when that happens, the f file opens up as well. Let's say queen here, knight g5, done. That's mate, and the rook hangs. there, you can take first with a rook. I don't mind. That one first. And then queen f7. There's no good way to stop queen to f7 checkmate, so you can take. And there we go. That's the normal move. If you're not feeling confident, you can defend. I don't mind. And you actually sacrifice the pawn in this style. So if you learn one thing in this video, it's about white finding a way to sacrifice the central pawn. The position opens up in white's favor. That's why researching this video was useful, because I'm learning as well. That's the cool thing. If I'm being selfish, this video is also for me, because I can get stronger as a player as well. Rook e1. If you take, here's a cool move. You see, you can actually take. Because take, and then that's gone. Watch. Here, 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 here. And this position is just gorgeous for white. Bishop is brilliant. You're attacking the pawn. You've got your passed pawn. Threats of even the knight coming here. Bishop can come here once that pawn is moved. And then 2 arrows, which I've drawn probably 10 times in one chess video on YouTube. Just the 2 rooks controlling the file. So you can take, or you can be really fancy, which is why I loved researching these kind of lines. Bishop to d1, then rook e3 is next, and then position looks very good. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just move the queen. Okay, and I think is that no? We got a bit more. We got a bit more. Check. Take the king. Be fancy. Preparing this variation, you can see I've put the different colors. Green for the rooks and queen, and then knights and bishops. Every single piece is in the attack. Every single piece is in the attack. Good stuff. Right. Now we will get to maybe if black knows this pawn sacrifice idea and they don't want you to play into it, they might play a different move. Rook e8. Okay, so that's a good move. And now knight can come into e4. Now black has less space, so one strategy is you need to stop your opponent swapping off pieces. So knight to d2 is a good move. Now they play knight h5, so it's a little bit different. And then they go f5. Bishop e2. Bishop to e2. Hit the knight. Remember this plan. The knight goes back to f6. Looking good, but then this was the journey. Let me stay color consistent. What do I mean? When I explained this before, the knight went to d2 to c4 in blue, and then we've got this, and then this one as well, red arrow here. You're stopping black getting played with their Benoni. Knight c4. Then they might have to play a tragic move like bishop to f8, and then we go queen b3. Lots of arrows. Just controlling so many squares. Blue arrow controlled the light squares. The green arrow were coming into b6, squashing our opponent. You turn on the engine, it says plus 2.1 already. So white is winning, and white doesn't even have, it's not even down material. Knight e4, you can just take, and castle, the pressure is too much. Right. That's what happens if you play someone who knows this line. Knight d7. Is this the top variation? It could be. Maybe there's one more. Knight d7. Can't take. Can't take because the knight retreats. Such a cool journey. I never saw this before. But be careful. If your opponent knows this line, you can't actually take. If your opponent plays this, then you're playing a top player. Because I haven't seen this line until preparing this video. So look, we are now up a pawn, but after take, we're in big trouble. Black has all their pieces in the game. Queen is brilliant in the center. Bishop is brilliant. Rook, sacrifice ideas maybe. It's just so easy for black to get all their pieces in the game. It doesn't even feel like black is down a pawn. So this kind of variation we cannot go for. We cannot go for this. Knight d7, you just ignore it. Okay, the bishop is on a great square anyway. Just go bishop e2. Knight e5, just castle. So this is the kind of position where they have set up in a good way, and now you play a cool move. The bishop can retreat. I don't really mind where. Bishop h2 if you want, and here, that is a move. That's the cool thing. If black plays a blunder, like b6 now, the knight is trapped. So even when black plays maybe one of their best setups, they still need to reroute. They still need to be careful with their central knight, or else f4 can actually trap this piece. They might go f5, it's okay. and then we play this kind of position. We will take a pause here and just discuss a few ideas. 1, 2, 3, putting pressure here. The queen can actually go here. You can even offer a swap. The rook can go here, and then maybe f4 and e4. So this kind of position, we are building it up. Yes. Right, bishop e2. Let's go to this one, and then there might be one more. After f5, bishop e2, f4. They want to open it up. Here's a cool move. You just ignore it. That's the cool thing. Don't take the knight, because now I think they can take on e3. Now, I think castling here is okay as well, but really they've opened up the center. I don't like this too much. I don't like this too much. That's hanging. Yeah, something like this. I don't really like this too much. I think white's up a pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. No, white's not even up a pawn. I definitely don't like this. So we can't do this. So in this position, you can play a cool move here. Bishop e2, f4, just castle. Get out of the way. Why am I showing this? Because that was the expected move, because you're attacking it twice. So a normal player would just move it. But if they try to sacrifice their pawn, you just ignore with castle. So I'm going to give it a double exclamation mark. Take, you just take. And it's the same idea as before. You are never worried when black, as the Benoni player, they will strike with f4 and then f takes e3. You can castle out the way. Knight c4 is coming next, and that is a threat as well. So if they take, you just take. Absolutely, you're just crashing through. Knight c4, I think you can just go queen h5 first. But I think knight c4 is cool because you hit the rook. The rook should move, and then, can you see, every single piece is in the game. 2 knights are brilliant. We've got this one. The other rook can swing in. The queen, not f5. What am I doing? Controlling f7, f5. Fantastic. Right, now, here, bishop e2 hit, knight c4, and queen b3. I wanted to show one more cool move here, and after castle, this variation. Very difficult for black to move. If they go knight d7, you can pick up. You can pick, or hit the rook first. So if they go queen c7, just trying to hold on. Why am I giving it double blunder? So then you guys might remember it. It's such a cool move, just to squeeze your opponent. They're finding it difficult to break free. You just go queen b6. So much pressure on here. You're squeezing the Benoni player. Pieces on great squares. Can't do that, because you actually lose the bishop. That's the cool thing. You lose the bishop. You just come back if you really want. Cool. Okay, this one. They might go queen c7. A bit slow, but it makes sense. Knight d7, knight e5. You just go bishop e2, knight c4. If they go knight e5, I want you to remember this idea. Take, and then a5. Now we squeeze our opponent. You're controlling the dark square. Light square here, control. The queen can come out to b3, which I mentioned, and then castle. That is something worth remembering. Next key moment, knight c4. They go bishop f8, we just squeeze. All these moves, just squeezing our opponent a little bit. They go en passant, b5, then take, and then a knight can go here. Knight can sit there, and then bishop can sit here. This kind of position is even more beautiful than before. 2 bishops here, just controlling everything. The knight sits very well in the center. You keep the queen there. You can even put the queen here, or you can castle. Castle here, then the rook can swing in the center. One more key moment. After knight d2, this is one of the best moves as well. They might go knight to a6. They go knight c7, knight d5. So when this happens, I think one of the best responses is, because the knight will go to c7 to attack our central pawn, we need to take. Bishop takes a6, and then we castle. Knight c4 first. Hit. Now, if they go bishop f8, I'm always looking forward to this passive move, then you castle, and then every piece is perfect. It's like really they've got doubled a pawns. That bishop, it might go a5, bishop a6, but it's a bit slow. You can always go b3. So knight c4, that is one move. They might go knight e4, take, and then rook c1. And now white's a bit better. Don't worry about a5, you just go b3. And white is a tiny bit better. Pressure in the center. Good. Time for the outro? Yes. Top corner. You want to stick around for some more high quality opening videos. Then, let me turn my camera. There. We got Master the Best Chess Opening, your ultimate guide, Catalan opening, 5,200 views. And then, bottom left corner, that will be Beat the Budapest Gambit, 4,000 views. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this Benoni video. Thank you so much.